Hi, Amanda here with Picket Studios. Today I'm going to share with you how I made this really fun shaker card. Using Bunny Deer stamp and die, I stamped it out with black hybrid Picket Fence ink, and I'm going to Copic color her up. She is so cute. I'm using E4 here as her dark tone. Then I will use E11, E21, and YR00. She has got the cutest little face, doesn't she? Hitting all of those darker spots, going in with the YR00, and then I will add some blush to her cheeks. She is super fun to color if you like to Copic color or any kind of coloring. A lot of fun to color her up. There you see I've added her cheeks, and I have sped this up quite a bit because this video would be very, very long if I left it regular speed, probably about an hour. So I am getting all the rest of her skin, and we're going to do her hair. I decided that this one I would just make her blonde. She's super cute with her little freckles. All right, now I went in with my darkest tone first, and I'm going in with my mid-tone, and then I'll hit everything with the light tone. Sometimes I do this when I have really small areas to work. I don't want to go too far so that I don't even have a light tone to work with. So I went with darker to lighter this time. She has such cute little braids, and that is really easy to work with considering you know where the darker spots would be. Now for her dress. She has cute little ruffles, and again, I'm going in with the darkest tone first, then the mid-tone, and then I'll hit everything with the light tone. And using the same two mid-tone and lighter tone, I'm going to do the flowers for her hair. And then her dress, using the W3 and W1 and W0 for shadowing and making her white pop just a little bit more. I didn't want it to look too gray, but I also needed some shadowing, otherwise it would look flat. And now for this bunny, using my darkest tone, I am giving it a little bit of a cheek kind of area, a recessed area, I guess you would say, and then going in with the other tones to make it pop. And here I'm using the darker C to make him look like he has dimension. So not going straight to the black line will give you that. And then filling it in. Really fun, cute little card. Coming in with the blues now for his little bow. And giving him some cheeks also. Now for the egg, I wanted it to look a little shiny, so I'm working from the outer edge towards the middle with darkest to lightest. And then I cut her out. Using the Short Grasses slimline die, the mini slimline double stitched rectangles die cutting system, and slimline woods cover plate die. I'm going to cut them all out and ink them up. Here I'm using antique linen and just getting that a little bit. I kept the part where I cut the grasses out from, and I'm going to pop that back in. That just helps so that the delicate tops of those grasses don't get bent, and you get a little better even coverage over everything because they are very small pieces. And getting this with my lightest color, I'm going to ink all of that up with my life-changing blending brushes. And then I will hit the tops of those with my darker color. I didn't want the grass to look too dark, that's why I'm using lighter colors and using the darker of the lighter colors, just going along the top to give it some shadowing. Really easy to do, especially with the remainder of the die cut, to keep it all straight. Now, this die cut I believe is meant to be a cloud, but I've decided that I wanted it to be my treetops. And I wanted soft colors. I already had green on the grass and the green in the back of the card. I wanted this part to stand out. So I went with pink for spring. And I'm just going to ink all of these up for my treetops. I have 3 of them cut here. One of them I'm going to cut the edges off to round them out so that it's not a flat edge and it kind of looks like a tree line is popping out a little bit for some dimension. Super easy to do. And now to glue it together. I'm going to glue my grasses to my background with the trees. And it overhangs just slightly, so I'm just going to trim off the overhang. Not too big of a deal. Doesn't affect the card in any way. And then gluing the tops of the trees on. Super easy to do. And I will set this aside to let it dry, and we'll be working on the back of the card here in just a second. Alright, using the Slimline Rising Sun stencil, I'm going to take my blending brushes and I'm going to ink up the back of this, the backdrop of this card first. I'm not going to worry about making it look 100% perfect because in reality we're going to be covering up most of this. We just need some of this lighter yellow to peek through the sun rays. The color that I'm using here is Scattered Straw. It is one of my favorite yellows, along with the Wild Honey from the Distress Oxide line. Now taking this stencil and placing it on in the middle, I'm going to use these magnets to hold it in place, and then going in with the Wild Honey. And using the brush, I'm just doing swifts to the outside of the card. I don't want to do circular motions here. So that they look more like a sun ray. And you will see I will pick up my stencil here in just a second, and I'm going to shift it. I wanted it to look like multiple rays, not just the ones that the stencil provides. So by shifting the stencil just slightly, I'm going to get that other layer that I normally wouldn't get. And lining it up and putting the magnets back down, I will get a second set of rays that really makes this card really cute. And in the same motion, just swifting it towards the outside of the card, not in circular motions. And then filling in the center of that sun. And I see there was a little spot that I just wasn't quite happy with, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a little more inking to that. Super, super easy. And there it is. I added some gold splatters with some watercolor paints, added my acetate, and I'm using this white foam that Picket Fence now carries. It's really exciting. I decided to use my Fiskars guillotine trimmer to cut the strips. It's super easy to do. It makes them nice and straight and thin. And I'm going to put it on the back of my card so that I can start putting in my sequins. The sequins that I'm going to be using is Shaker Garnish Spring Yellow, Citrine Crystalline Diamonds, and Peter Cottontail sequins. I really love the Shaker Garnish Spring Yellow in this. It really makes it sparkle. There we go. Leveling that all out there. Adding on my top. Lining it up. Sometimes that's the hardest part, just lining up the edges. But there it is. Super cute. I'm going to add on the bunny deer stamp. And I added my sentiment. There it is. Backed on a green backer, adding it to my card. I really hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I hope you come back again and do try it for yourself. Thanks. Bye.